fourth generation Mazda 2 was the latest in a long list of super minis to be treated to a 2015 makeover when it was launched earlier this year. It's taken on the company's dramatic new Kodo design language with that massive front grille, and much like the way the VW Polo is now a mini Golf, the Mazda 2 is really now just a slightly smaller Mazda 3. So there's a really strong brand image there, which is no bad thing. And Mazda have been producing some really handsome cars lately. And that hasn't gone unnoticed either, with their 3 winners in this year's APMP Car of the Year awards. So the new MX-5 got Best Cabriolet, the CX-3 Best Compact Crossover, and then there's this, which is the official 2016 Small Car of the Year. So they're obviously doing something right. And right enough, the basics of the Mazda 2 are good, with a decent sized cabin, plenty of adjustment in the seat and steering wheel for a good driving position, a back seat about on par with the class with a reasonable amount of rear legroom, 3 seatbelts, ISOFIX fittings for child seats, and bonus marks for practicality, as all models in the range are 5-door. The interior, like the CX-3, is sleek and modern, mixing Japanese durability with a high quality, nice to touch European finish. This GT model gets a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which can also be controlled by this multimedia commander dial in the centre. So very much like the Audi MMI system. And in fact, there's a bit of an Audi feel to this cabin as a whole, with lots of clean lines, stylish but logical controls, and just a very simple but very elegant layout. The light stone leather interior on this one is particularly nice, but does only come as part of an option pack on this high-spec GT model, along with heated seats and LED headlights. The entry-level SE model starts at just under €16,000, but as usual, it will probably be the mid to higher spec trims that will be the real volume sellers. Like the mid-spec executive model, which does come very well equipped with cruise control, air conditioning, alloy wheels, steering wheel mounted controls and a traditional multimedia system. So they start at just under €17,000, and at that stage do represent good value for money for the amount of kit included. You will have to go up one more trim level to the Executive SE if you want this touchscreen though, and for a €1,500 premium on top of the Executive, we'll also add the commander dial, automatic aircon and some extra safety kit in the form of lane departure warning and smart city brake support. But safety features across all trims are quite good anyway, with 6 airbags and hill start assist as standard. Although like a lot of new cars under the stringent new 2015 rules, it didn't quite get the full 5 stars on the NCAP safety test, scoring a respectable 4 instead. The boot then is about average for the class at 280 litres, although having looked into quite a few super mini boots this year, I'd have to say it's probably not the car's strongest point. There's quite a high lip and the seats don't fold completely flat. That's about where my quibbles with the Mazda 2 end though, because it's an absolute blast to drive, and probably one of the best road holding cars I've driven all year. The suspension is just firm enough so that you can really throw it into corners with confidence, yet it still doesn't jar on rougher surfaces. And instead of going down the smaller turbocharged engine route that many manufacturers are doing these days, they've opted instead to go for a naturally aspirated 1.5 litre petrol, available in 2 different power outputs, this GT model being the higher powered 90 PS version. So you do have to work it that little bit harder to get it up to speed, and it might get a little bit noisier while you do, but in many ways that adds to the sporty feel of the car and gives it a bit more of an authentic driving experience. And according to Mazda, makes for better real world fuel economy too. The claim figure for this model is 63 miles to the gallon, which hasn't been too far off the mark this week. Today I'm seeing more like late 40s, early 50s, but in fairness I have been doing a lot of city-based driving as well as a bit of mountain climbing. Low carbon emissions then means it falls into the acceptable less than €200 a year bracket for motor tax. There's also a 1.5 litre diesel available, but only in the Executive SE trim and starting at €22,200. And while the claimed fuel economy is incredible at 83 miles to the gallon, you'd have to wonder just how long, if ever, it's going to take your typical super mini driver to earn that saving back. But at least the option is there. So that is the award-winning Mazda 2, and even though it's not the best right across the board at everything that it does, there's just something a bit special about this car that makes it stand out from the crowd. And it's probably one of the only small cars that can rival the Fiesta in terms of handling, yet it comes in a slightly more stylish, slightly more exciting package. And it's got that fun factor, which for me is what super minis are all about. Check it out for yourself on our site, where you can now book a test drive with your local Mazda dealer on the New Car channel, or see what the competition have to offer while you're there on CarsIreland.ie.